to today's video. We are doing a 3-day wear test of a somewhat new foundation. It still says new at Sephora, but that's always iffy. This is the Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Luminous Hydrating Longwear Foundation. That's the box, and this is the bottle. I got the shade 230. We'll talk about it. There are some other shades, and I'm also going to be doing some swatch tests on my face so you can see what these different shades look like. But first, we're going to talk about the foundation. It comes in 50 shades. It is a hydrating and glowy foundation that's waterproof and reduces shine. However, elsewhere, it says it's long-wearing, medium coverage foundation that gives a golden hour glow in a bottle. It hydrates, brightens, improves the look of skin tone immediately and over time while resisting sweat, humidity, and transfer. So resistant and proof are two different things. I will say that, well, I'll come to the end and tell you what my thoughts are on that. And then we can look at some of the ingredients. I'm not sure what it is they're saying is making your skin better over time. The first half, and that's where most of the volume is, water, dimethicones, a couple of different methicones, trimethicones. Glycerin is probably number 5-ish, and that's a hydrator. And then more dimethicones and carriers and all that kind of stuff. And then we have lecithin, Ferdinand Diana fruit extract. I'm not thinking, oh wow, these are great for the skin and these are really high up. Doesn't matter to me. I do skincare before my makeup, and I know you do too. So that's what we're saying. Before we go on, I need to tell you a little bit about my skin, because if you're new here, you need to take this into consideration, what I'm saying. I am 61, soon to be 62, and my skin is on the dry side. It's not bone dry, but sometimes it feels bone dry because I do have a treatment program, and once in a while I overdo it, and I feel quite dry in the winter if it's dry, etc., etc. The point is, I'm not producing oils like I used to. I never have a problem with longevity with my foundation, ever. It's just, I guess I give it the right stuff to start with, my skincare and my skin type. Foundation stays on me, it doesn't slip away. Shades, there are 50 shades, but it doesn't mean there's a shade that's for me. It's as usual. I'm going to show you right now the different shades that I got and what it looks like on my face. This is a dry face with no sunscreen, no moisturizer, no nothing. 230. And here's the 230 from the center, here, here. 170. And this is 170. If this is reading correctly, this is actually a good undertone for me, but it's a little bit too light. 230 and 170 and 190 right here. So this is 230, this is 190. Now I feel that this one is actually even more yellow than this one, but I think the depth of tone is pretty good. And you can see with all these on, this one a tad too light. This one, I don't know what it is. I was thinking it's a little more yellow, but this one looks even more yellow. So over these 3 days, I've applied 3 different ways, and I've done creams on one day, creams and powders on one day, and I've done today creams and powders as well, but mostly powders. The first day was actually a video that I've already published, a new Sephora haul. I'm going to post that right here if you haven't seen it, and I'm just going to pull some footage and drop it in and walk you through. On the first day, I went in with my Sonia G foundation brush, looks like this. I wanted to see if it would leave any brush marks and what it would look like. It went on very quickly, very easily. There were no problems with my skincare, no problems with my sunscreen, which on the first day was from In Beauty. I thought that I got a strong medium coverage that looked really, really beautiful on the skin, as dimethicone-based foundations often do. They have this way of kind of filling the pores and oftentimes blurring. I will say, I feel that the D&G Blueberry is a bit more blurry than this one, but it still looked beautiful on the skin. Then I went on with blush. I wanted to see what a cream blush would do, and I went in with the Danessa Myricks Young Skin, color listed below because my magnifying glass is in the other room, but this is a beautiful, delicious color. I did one side with a beauty blender to see how that would work. Usually cream blushes with a beauty blender or a sponge is gorgeous. And again, there was no problem at all. It looked seamless on the skin. There wasn't any balling up or pilling or any kind of weird activity. Then I went on with another liquid. This is the Say bronzer, but the color I felt would do really well for a contour for me. It could be both a bronzer and a contour. On one side, I just applied Doe Foot, like CA, and blended that in with a small brush, no problem at all. And then I put some on my hand and picked it up with the same brush, and that was actually a little easier to blend. It had nothing to do with the foundation, it was just the application of this product. And again, no balling, no pilling, no patchiness, no strangeness. So then I powdered my face, and this is the YSL bronzer, and I did that all over, and again, no problems. I didn't remove with my bronzer brush any of my foundation. There wasn't any skipping, any pulling. It worked beautifully. So in that video I talk a little bit more about the foundation, but probably not too much, but I just walked you through everything, so no me talking about what was happening on that day. Now let's get into day 2. Welcome to day 2. Let's talk about day 1, which was a few days ago. I think I put it on around 11, around 8. I looked in the mirror at a 10x and it looked just as good at 8 o'clock as 11 o'clock. But I didn't do a thing all day long. Nothing. I was on my computer all day. So for our second day today, which is a couple of days later, I used the In Beauty Project sunscreen, which I think is what I used before. I was just in such a hurry because I'm going for a hike, and I thought that that might be a really good way to test this because I did look it up. The first day, I don't look up anything. Second day, I looked up, and they say that this is transfer resistant and sweat resistant. So resistant is different than proof, transfer proof, sweat proof, and I'm definitely going to be sweating. What I'm going to do today is mix 2 colors. I'm going to mix the lightest color that I have, which is a little bit pink, but a little too light, and that's 170. And I'm going to mix it with the 230, which is a really good depth of tone for me. So I'm just putting a little bit on my hand here, but it's a little warm for me. So this is going to make it lighter, but hopefully cooler. And today we're going to go on with the Beauty Blender. Because I'm picking it up from my hand and have blended on my hand and using a Beauty Blender, I'm going to, of course, lose a lot of product, and I'm probably going to get a sheerer coverage. Yeah. So the coverage I got the other day was a very strong medium with the brush. And the brush just doesn't eat up as much. Okay, I'm going to go on right away with some concealer. Like I said, I am going to go hiking, so I'm not going to do too much. But I see I got a little redness here from my glasses. For highlighter, I am going to go with a liquid. This is the Westman Atelier, and it's in Peau de Pêche. I just love it. It's so subtle and beautiful. There's no problem at all. So pretty. I think I'm going to leave it kind of at that because, again, I'm going hiking. I don't want to be too makeup-y, but I might do a little bit more on my eyes because with the concealer, I feel like my eyes disappear. If that makes sense. So today is going to be a wear test. It's 10:15. She'll be here in like 15 minutes. Then we have to drive about 20 minutes, probably hike for an hour. By the time we're done, I might be back around 12:30, and I'm just going to do a check-in with you to see what it looks like after a hike in the heat. I'm sweating, and yeah, back in a second. You guys, so it's one. I'm back. I did sweat. Okay, so it's not transfer proof because my sunglasses rubbed everything off, you know, between the sweat and the sunglasses. So there's that. But let's just see what else. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna move in and you can see, this is partly actually redness, I think, from the sunglasses. And partly took off, yeah, the foundation. But I don't really see anything gathering here or here. And I do feel that some did rub off because I don't have as much coverage right here. I was wearing my hat, although, you know, my arms got really red. I don't really have any reason to have my face red, so I think when I was sweating, I could feel right here and I would pat it a little bit. A little bit came off. So there you are. Information for you to do with what you will. And this is day 2 and the test for heat. I'm just coming back for one more thing, you guys. I don't have my computer here, so I have no idea if I'm in focus, but these are the glasses I'm wearing, and this is why it rubbed off. So the pink I'm seeing right here, it's right here. So I can't fault the foundation. It would happen with any foundation. If you're wearing something that touches your skin, maybe you can see better. This is touching. I'm talking the whole time, so my cheeks are moving up and down. Makeup gone, glasses on. And now for day 3. And finally day 3, and that is today. Today I went in with my Mineral Magic sunscreen first, and then I waited 10 minutes for it to set up before I went in with the foundation. And again, I mixed the 2 colors, 230 and 170. And this is what we have. Today I did it with fingers, and I had a little too much on my hand. It's hard when you have a pump and you're mixing it with something that isn't a pump. You want to get the right mix. It was a little too much product. And so I went in with a beauty blender afterwards. I went in with actually this guy, just to work around the edges of the hairline and take a little bit off. Interestingly enough, it didn't look bad, even though I felt it was too much for me. You can build this, and it's not going to look cakey or strange, but it was a little too much for me. The sun just came out, so you can get a better sense of the color, and it's not too bad. And pull you in one more time to take a look. Maybe on camera you can see something that I don't see in real life, but I'm thinking that it looks super good and that I have some on my ear. I did cut away so I could do my eye makeup, which is what I normally do, so the foundation has time to set. And this time I wanted to do my powder products without first powdering my face. I had no problem with the blush at all. Let's get into that footage. Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I love this color. Light hand, no pulling at all. And now I'm going to go in with my new YSL bronzer, which is, it was in the other video. It's so lovely. And this is my Suq brush. My blush, I went on with my Hakuhodo. And start up here, again, super light touch. This color is not super dark, which I appreciate. I mean, I did it on purpose. work into the hairline, no problem. Okay, so I think we can safely say I'm going a little harder now. There's no pulling, no dragging. I'm not getting product on my brush, my foundation product, and I can really tell it's okay because my brush doesn't look wet. So this does dry down and doesn't require from me any powdering, which is really, really nice. So, lovely. I'm going to pull you in, I'm going to scooch in, and we're going to take a look. So there's some sheen right here. It's from the lights, really. And a little on my cheeks. And of course I did the Westman Atelier for a highlighter. And when I turn, I can see sheen on my forehead. But when I'm looking straight ahead, it's not super sheeny. So I really like that. I can always go on and do a little bit of powder if I don't want this to shine right here. You know, as you get older, certain things start happening to your skin, like crepiness that is not too attractive. So I like to powder that area so you don't see it as much. A little bit of crepey right here, and I always like to powder right here in the cheeks, and it looks beautiful with powder on too. And that's it. I don't think I want to powder anything else. Maybe right above the lip. This really takes to powder very nicely as well. So check, 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 check. So my conclusions. I do find that it is transfer resistant. That is not a problem. It's not transfer proof, but that blue and white striped shirt I wore on the first day, in the first video that's already posted, I didn't have any around the collar. It was a high neck collar. That is good. If you happen to see stuff on this, it's not from today. When I put this on, I thought, ooh, maybe I shouldn't put this on because it has something on it from something else. It is not transfer proof. If I wiped something on my face, it probably would come off, but it is transfer resistant. I also found that it was somewhat sweat proof. The day that I went on that long walk, the hike, my glasses actually scraped off the foundation because they hit my cheek. I'm with a friend, I'm talking, my cheeks go up, it was scraping. And when I looked in a 10x mirror, I could see the scrape, how it accumulated, you know, at the edge where it was being scraped off. But the rest of the face looked fine. So the sunglasses caused part of that problem, but the sweat didn't cause any other problems. So I do find that it is sweat resistant, and I do find that it is transfer resistant without actually being drying, and it doesn't seem to have alcohol in it. So the other one I know of is Dior, and the Dior can be a teeny bit drying. There is alcohol. There's the MAC Face and Body, which I've been told doesn't have alcohol in it, but it also doesn't have a lot of colors. It doesn't have a color for me. But those are strictly, really transfer proof, unless, again, you try really hard, and they're sweat proof. However, I think this will do many, many people very well in the summer, unless you live in the South, someplace where it's wickedly humid. It may not be enough for you. They're saying that it's hydrating. I would agree. For someone who has dry skin, I didn't feel that it was moisturizing. I felt it was very comfortable to wear and to put on the skin. It felt nice, but I didn't feel oily or greasy. As such, I think someone who doesn't have skin who's too dry or too oily, it's really down the middle, what they used to call normal skin, would like this as much as somebody who has dry skin. If you have combo, if you have a lot of oil around the nose, you might not like it. I don't know. I'm assuming that if you really have oily skin, again, you might not like it. So normal to on the dry side to bone dry, I think you're going to enjoy this. It dried down without having to powder first. I think that is amazing, but it looks beautiful with powder. Again, dimethicone-based foundations usually do. They usually look great. Oftentimes, dimethicone-based foundations do not agree with your skincare. They have to be happy together, and in my case, they were happy together. So that's good. I don't know, maybe they've gotten better at dimethicone blends, so there's not so much balling and pilling, but really, really lovely. Long wearing, absolutely. The first day, I think I mentioned this earlier, it looked just as good at 8 o'clock with a 10x mirror than it did at 10 o'clock in the morning when I put it on, even though I didn't do anything all day long. It looked good. After the hike, I just reapplied some to my cheeks where it was scraped off by my sunglasses. Looked great. That was hardly any other makeup. And then today is a full makeup day, and it just looks gorgeous. I've already shown, you've already seen the footage, I think, but I'm just going to show you again, especially where I powder it. Using my By Terry, which is my go-to, it looks like I have no pores right here. Powder and dimethicone work so well together. I have to give this a thumbs up. It is such a beautiful foundation, and if not for the fact that they do not have a shade for me, I would be buying this. I think this shade is okay on me. It's not perfect on me. If you saw my neck has foundation on it right now. But if there's a shade for you, you absolutely need to try this if you have dry skin and you're looking for a strong, medium coverage. You are going to get it with this foundation. I'm very impressed with how I was able to use powder blush and powder bronzer without first powdering my face. The product didn't bunch up or skip any areas, and didn't make, as I said earlier, it didn't make my brush look wet, which is something that happens if your foundation is just too wet and you need to do a little powdering all over first. I'm very impressed in so many ways. You guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Everything will be linked down below. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. And until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.